So we will start the questions being asked. So we'll come to May's question. Please
My question too.
explain how sankhara or volitions and vinnana is an aggregate of clinging with examples. It's easy to see how a person clings to rupa, vedana, sanna, but not easy to see how or what they're clinging to and what to with sankhara and vinnana, or are they all connected? So if you don't cling to one, you don't cling to all five aggregates. Maybe partially, as I find sankara a tricky word to grasp, volition, intention, mental formation, preparation, or is it how one views themselves in five aggregates, his mother, wife, baker, etc., or is that the vinnana giving the perception? Good question, May. Think everybody has appreciated your question, so let me also feel very happy for your question. Okay. Now there is one sutta called Mahavedala Sutta, which comes handy to your question. It's in Majjhima Nikaya, so it is in MN 43. And then there is a question there: is vinnana, sanya, and vedana, can they be split out, or they all attached to each other? Unfortunately, it is all attached to each other. You can't split it out. But there is an easy answer to this. 1 hour ago, I was talking to Bhim Reddy. He is ultimately, or he has now grasped what is the five aggregate. So I'm very happy that he has understood it after all the pain he underwent, and now I'm feeling very relieved that he got it. So he's very happy also, he's understood it. Okay, so now let's first understand what comes first. Cognition, meaning to recognize. See, this word itself tells you what it is, right? Recognition is recognition, right? So you keep on, cognize is to grasp or is to get that object again and again and again and again. That is what you need to be doing it all the time, right? Otherwise, there is no way you can do anything about it, right? So the basic thing what is going to happen is that 1 second. The basic thing that is going to happen is I need to have a recognition. So when I see all of you on the camera, right, what happens first? Is the feeling happening first, or is the recognition happening first? I recognize, or the perception happening first? If you were to ask a question like this, there is no answer to that. All the three things happen together. They arise together and pass together along with the object. Okay. So the moment I am seeing myself, that is this body, on the screen, it's appearing in both sides. It's appearing on the screen of the consciousness along with the screen of this camera, right? It's happening in both ways. The screen of the consciousness and the screen itself. If it were a non-living object, there's only one. The reflection is happening only on that side. The reflection is not happening on this side. Since it's a living object, the reflection happens on both sides. Okay? So then what happens? It gets recognized, right? So if the person is having dementia, then what happens? There's only one side recognition. So the other side recognition is not there. So he cannot recognize. Okay? So your question, if I were to answer it, is that whether it is sanya or vinnana, the basic thing is, without vinnana, there is nothing called as sanya or nothing called as vedana also. Got the point? So if I have to recognize, again the word, you see, recognize, you just make it in a proper way. Recognize as may. There should be a sankhara associated with it, yes or no? If there were no associated sankhara, how could I now recognize it is may? Yes.
Can you expand that? Like, when you said, if I don't do the sankara, does that mean like an intention to want to recognize, or I always get a bit confused about what preparation am I doing. I mean, I don't know. I recognize, and then what preparation
Am
or am I
I
thinking?
not preparing, or am I not using the volition? I'm not using the word formation or whatever words I can use, but actually what's happening? I am getting to welcome may. Yes or no? Let's forget all of these words of whatever preparation, volition, blah, blah, all that, which are there in everywhere in the English translation of sutta. Basically, am I not welcoming that object? Can I just welcome the object as it is? No. If I want to welcome may in my life, then I have to do something about it. That doing something is the sankhara. Got the point? Now, let's take simple example. Forget may because it is complicated. So my favorite place is what? Can you tell me what's my favorite place to stay?
US.
Okay, Sachin said US. Okay. Each one of you guess, where do you think I should stay?
You always talk about your staying in America.
Okay, I talk about staying in America. So whose perception? Sachin's perception is that I love America. Okay, done. What else? Well,
I think
as per you, where do you think I suit much better? Colorado. Okay, that is again in America. So where do you think I belong to?
Yeah, in your house, in your bedroom.
No. Where do you think is appropriate for me to belong to? From what you perceive?
And your home country.
Home country. Okay. But you are not in your home country, right? So how do you guess that I will be interested in the home country? You're on mute.
Inside a temple.
Okay. No. So the question is like this. Let me put it in a better way, in an appropriate way. Which country you think makes sense for me to stay?
That's up to you, isn't it?
No, you can also suggest, Vilas, why don't you be in this country? Let's play this game and then we will see what happens. If this is a question to you, May, forget about the rest because they are biased. They think that I basically belong to US because I keep on talking about US. So where do you think, as per you, where do you think I should stay?
New Zealand. It's good. It's nice.
New Zealand is good. Okay. Where? Auckland?
Anywhere in New Zealand, but yeah, Wellington is good.
Wellington is good. Okay. Even I feel like if you were to ask me between Auckland and Wellington, and then staying in this the Christchurch, I would prefer staying in Wellington rather than in Christchurch or in Auckland. Even though Auckland is good to look at with mountains and rivers and all that, I somehow love to stay in Wellington. Okay, so let's take this as an example. Now, which is the vedana? Which is the sanna? Which is the sankara? Which is the vinnana? Can you tell me?
They're all intermingled. You can't really break it.
Right, it cannot, but you can make a guess of it.
Mm.
Okay, let me answer rather than putting you in trouble. Where is Wellington? Don't tell me it is in New Zealand. I know. But can you find Wellington? And the answer is yes. You would find Wellington. Unless you are a deep dhamma follower, then you would say that I don't think so there is a Wellington. But otherwise, you know there is Wellington. That knowing is vinnana. Okay, the knower. Right? There's a knower. So without a blink, you would say there is Wellington. Yes or no? And between Christchurch and Wellington and Auckland, if you were to take a car, wouldn't you know that you just now finished Auckland and now driving towards Wellington? And you would know. And from from Wellington, you take some tunnels and then you come into this Christchurch. So did you know that you have landed in Christchurch? And the answer is yes. So didn't you do something to reach there? Did you not do something to reach there? Or you just happened like that? You first have to welcome Wellington. You first have to welcome Christchurch. You have to welcome Auckland. And then when you welcome, the sankharas will happen. If there is no welcoming, no sankhara can happen. So that you prepare to welcome them, or you volition, or you form, or whatever words we can use there, choice. Name it by whatever name we could give in English. But ultimately, you're preparing something, just like food preparation. That never was there. The food was not there in that way. But you have to prepare. You have to make a volition. I will prepare it this way. I have to choose something. Or I have to make a form. I have to create a formation. It's made up. Similarly, Wellington is made up. Yes.
I get a little bit confused when like when the Buddha talks about the banana trunk and it says many layers like an onion, and then I'm trying to see the five aggregates, the sankara and then
Wait. You have gone too far. Take the banana trunk. Do you find any solid wood there? In the same way, do you find any Wellington there? You're just pasting one sticker after the other. Oh, here it goes. Oh, here you go. 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 You keep on adding stickers on that or labels on that, but you would never find Wellington unless you are a really mad person to find it. And a normal person is a mad person. So obviously he would find Wellington. Yes. Yeah, Aryu. You can never. Maybe you can read out Aryu.
No. I was just saying you can never describe Wellington without saying New Zealand, which another layer of the banana is what I was thinking.
Yeah. See, the thing is like this. To experience something, you have to define it. Yes or no? To define it, you have to create layers. If you can't create layers, you definitely cannot experience it. Like say, for example, where are you placed? Auckland or in Wellington?
Wellington. But I thought it was the vinnana that causes the
Wait for a second.
No?
Wait for a second. Let's not go to vinnana.
Okay.
Let's not go to vinnana. So you're in Wellington, right? Can you go outside your home and find Wellington as Wellington? You'll find a street, but not Wellington. Now, can you peel the street? Now, when you are in the street, can you now see the house, your house? Or do you have to do something to get your house? And the answer is you have to do something about that house. You have to first say the house number is so and so. Yes? Now, how do you recognize your car? By the number plate. Is there a way of recognizing car minusing the number plate? No. If you see the number plate, is that the car by itself? No. That's what is the banana trunk is made up of. You have to keep on peeling it and peeling it and peeling it and peeling it. Ultimately, you'll find nothing out there. And to have an experience, you require to have a recognition. So you need to keep on cognizing it. You need to name it and you need to experience it. You name it and you experience it. If you don't name it, you can't experience it. That means if there was no New Zealand, then you wouldn't be able to experience Wellington. Because there is New Zealand, you can experience Wellington now. Because there is lawn in front of your home, you can call that my house has a lawn. Right? And you require a mower. So you need to mow the land. Because the grass will grow and then you have to mow it the way you want it. Right? That means you have to prepare something. That means if you want a very nice looking lawn, what do you need to do? First you need to call it a lawn, right? Which is vinnana. And to maintain that lawn, what do you need to do? You need to mow. Take in a lawn mower and then mow your lawn, right? And then the grass gets cut. So when you cut the grass, and what happened? It looks beautiful. But earlier it was ugly. Why? Because it was grown in a haphazard way. That means you have to do something about it. And when you want to do something is sankara. Or whatever you want to do is sankara. So you need to prepare. So you're preparing your land. You're preparing your field. In the same way, you're preparing your eyes. You're preparing your ears. You're preparing your tongue. You're preparing your nose. You're preparing your body. You're preparing your mind. That's all what you're preparing. Preparing for what? For welcoming sight, for welcoming sound, for welcoming taste, for welcoming touch, for welcoming smell, and welcoming thoughts. What else will you prepare for? Now to do that, you require to cognize. So you need to have a cognition of the eye, the cognition of the ear, the cognition of the nose, the cognition of the tongue, the cognition of the body, and the cognition of the mind. Otherwise, you cannot prepare anything. And for that, when you prepare, it's going to give you some kind of feeling. And you need to prepare to feel happy or unhappy or neutral. And because it is happy, there should be perception of happiness. So you need to have a perception now. Without perceiving, how can you know it is happiness or unhappiness? To perceive. So when you perceive, you know it is happy. Because that's experience which is given by the vinnana, due to your preparation, will make you feel happy. If that is not as per that, then you feel unhappy. That means the sight, when you're mowing your land or your what we can say, the lawn, and then the blade gets cut in between. You say, Jesus, my Jesus, oh shit, holy cow. How did it get cut? It looks so odd now. Looks so ugly. So you need to take your car, rush to the hardware store, buy the blade, and come back and remove that blade and then put this blade, and you have to do all of this just to make it look good. And the entire moving is just to make eyes feel good. That's all what's being done. If you had ignored it, your neighbor would have come and said, hey, your lawn is not that good. Maybe you will get some rats and some other stuff and think you need to mow it. Otherwise, snakes will be there. Now you need to do all of that. I think you need to ensure that you take care of it. And you say, you know what? I don't care. And the neighbor goes away, maybe cursing you, but that doesn't do anything to you. But the moment I take it, my neighbor has said it, that I need to upkeep my lawn. Now you take all the sankharas at once. So you need to prepare. So instead of going to the hospital on that day, you need to take off, and then you take your lawn mower and then you plug it in, and then you start mowing the land, and then after a couple of hours, the lawn looks neat. Now you're tired. You need to drink water. After that, you feel hungry, so you eat. And then you go to the hospital. And everybody comes and says, May, what a beautiful, your lawn looks pretty. Now in this, the preparation has paid off, right? Yes, May, go ahead.
So you're clinging to the result of the preparation, and then you have to upkeep it. So you have to keep doing it. So that's what you're clinging on to.
Yes, you're clinging on to the sankharas. That's the reason Buddha says, Sabbe sankhara anicchati yada panyaya passati atha nibbindati dukkhe yeso maggo visuddhiya. All sankhara, sabbe sankhara, anicca iti. You can put it in two ways. They are uncertain in one way, and they are arising and passing away. The grass, if you cut, will arise and they pass away. And again they arise and again they pass away. Just like our hairs on the skin. No matter how much I take a razor and keep on doing it, after a while, if I was a girl, I should have, if somebody would have looked at my hair like this, and then that my parents would have taken me to the hospital, saying that, my daughter is having too many hairs on her body. I think there's hormonal problem, what I should do. And that gynecologist or whatever, he would have said, yeah, I think her estrogen levels is low, so you need to increase the estrogen level, and then the testosterone is more, so the testosterone has to be reduced. Yeah, May, go ahead.
So let's say one is a girl, and let's say she was shaving, and if she just realizes the anicca nature of this hair and everything and anatta, and then she stops shaving, is that when she stops clinging to her sankara of shaving? No.
She will still do it, knowing that it is anicca.
Yes.
She still does it. Now she thinks it is her hair and she's doing it. She's introduced to dhamma, and just like you go to the toilet, you need to wash your whatever thing you need to wash, right? Just because I know it's anicca nature doesn't mean that I'm going to come out of the toilet, see it as it is, right?
What if she's a Sotapanna? She's going to stop shaving? That's stopping the sankaras.
What if she's a Sotapanna after she finished her whatever she was doing? Will she just come out? Right? She finished her poop. What she should do? Flush. Sotapanna or no Sotapanna, arhat or no arhat, he has to press the flush. She can't come out and say, you know what? I am an arhat. Now from today, I can shit around everywhere in the house. Because now I know body is made out of shit. So I would rather sleep in shit. No, not permitted. Not permitted. She would still do it, knowing the anicca nature of it. She would in fact see it far better. That every moment she's doing the same thing. Exactly the same thing. Or rather, 3 time frames: morning, afternoon, evening. She's doing the same thing. The hairs will grow. You need to take a razor. She needs to shave. Like I need to shave. And Buddha also used to shave. Just because he became Buddha, he didn't say that, okay, now I know it. Okay, it's all perfect. So I don't have to do anything. No, he has to do it. So these are basic sankharas. That has to be continued. But there's still a sankhara. Yes, agreed.
Basically, whatever you were doing before enlightenment and whatever you do after enlightenment is same.
But-
It's not.
Yeah,
it's
but,
not, no
but there is a
difference.
change. So, sorry. Yes, Sachin, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's said that before enlightenment you face the water, after enlightenment also you face the water. It's very great saying something, some book or something. So there is no life change after enlightenment or becoming, or even becoming Sotapanna. Nothing.
Yeah, May, go ahead.
I guess the reason she would do it would become different. Let's say before it was because she was afraid of how people view her, or maybe that hairy arms was ugly. But then afterwards, she would be doing it maybe for conventional sakes rather than
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It's more convenience. It's just a norm. And you're following the norms. A girl shouldn't have hairs. Okay, fine. A boy should have hairs. Okay, fine. That's a norm. A boy don't have hairs and the girl has all the hairs in the world. That means there's something wrong. So you need to go to a doctor, and the doctor would say that, you know what, this boy has a lot of estrogen, so we need to make him get into the testosterone. So he needs some injections of this hormones. Maybe his pituitary gland is not developed, so we need to do something about his pituitary gland. Of this female, the pituitary gland is not that much developed, and it is giving a wrong signal, so the body is preparing more of testosterone and hence a lot of hairs, and then we need to increase the estrogen level in her body so that she looks feminine. That's it. That's all what it is. It's still sankhara, right? But it's anicca nature. By nature, anicca means what? Even if she's given those injections, there's no guarantee that she would turn into feminine. It's uncertain. One, even if it is true, it passes away. How and why? When she was a girl, was she a woman? Or was she having hormones? No, she wouldn't. As a baby, both the boy and girl has the same amount of hairs. And they don't have any secondary hairs. And that's it. Only when at the puberty, when this changes, and then the problem starts. So that means it's uncertain. How much hairs is going to grow, nobody can say on the body. That's uncertain. And even if it is certain, let's say we make it known, and still what happens? It passes away. So she knows, or he knows, the anicca nature. And trying to maintain it is dukkha. But he has to do that. And there's no atta there. What is atta in the hair? Nothing. So he knows it's just a sankhara. So sabbe sankhara anicchati yada panyaya pasati. Now he can see it with wisdom. Atha nibbindati dukkhe. Now the dukkha is eliminated. Nibbindati means cessation, ceasing away of the dukkha. Yeso maggo visuddhiya. This path is that purified path which will make somebody sees the sankhara in its true nature. Why? Because of vinnana. Vinnana is required for both. Yoniso manasikara also requires vinnana. That is able to discriminate what is right and what is wrong, and also ayonisi manasikara, that is taking the wrong as right. So it requires vinnana. So he's understood vinnana now. Now he knows what should be known. So in the Mahavedala Sutta, when the debate is happening, a question and answer session is happening, Vedala means question and answers. So now when the questioning is happening, the answer given is what? Vinnana has to be known, panya has to be developed. What is vinnana there to know? If you feel something and if you sense something, that feeling and sensation, or the feeling and perception, is going to be made real by the vinnana. If you truly believe you're a female and you would start experiencing as a female, and you would start doing the sankharas as a female, how do you do it? Well, you know what, in the world they say pink is for a girl and a blue is for a boy. That means every girl who selects pink would be termed female. This is sankhara. You see this? It's a sankhara. Isn't that preparation? You're preparing your mind to say, I am a female. So what would you do if you have daughters? Born baby, you will put pink around her. Why? Which idiot told you? No, girls love pink. Which girl came and told you? Which baby came and spoke to you? Mama, mom, I like pink. I don't think so any girl came and told that. And the same way, any boy came and told, and he only spoke to the pop, because male has to speak only to the male, right? How can he speak to the mother? Now, nobody asked this question. That means the milk has to come from both the parents. So the breast of the male also should be ready for giving food to that male child. So if it is a male, the male will give the food, and a female will give the food. Right? If pink is for girl and blue is for boy, the male breast should be for the boy and the female breast is for the girl. Why this boy has to suck the breast of the mother? Isn't it crazy? And that's a sankhara. And it is, and don't you feel it is true? You would go and buy a blue shoe and a blue blanket and a blue color curtain, and goddamn, you buy everything of blue because the baby should love blue. Right? And me and mom, a shop, or Toys R Us, boy section, you will not find any pink color thing there. In the entire Toys R Us across US, I never found any store carrying pink color things in a boy section. Couldn't find.
The anxiety will start if the boy doesn't like the blue.
Exactly. Now his mother will get mad. Why? He's supposed to choose blue. And for now, he chooses pink. Now what happens? They take to the doctor. And the doctor is even more weird than the parent. He would say, I need to give an injection. For what? Because he's selecting pink. right? So now you condition the consciousness. Isn't that what you're doing? And then later, the boy chooses only blue and the girl chooses only pink. It's been conditioned, it's been made to feel that way. So you're feeding the consciousness, saying that you should pick up blue, you should pick up blue, you should pick up blue. And the baby, after some time, as a boy, will select blue, and the relief to the parent. Wow, my son could pick up blue. Grace, it doesn't matter if you wear blue or pink or red or green, or how does it matter? No, it matters. It matters. And in a Western society, it matters the most. They go crazy without that. So if you have a mobile device, and then it should be pink for girl. It should have some ornamentative kind. And if the boy picks it up, everybody looks like him like this. Why is he picking this? Maybe he is LGBTQ, and that's the reason. That's okay, right? This is how you conditioned it. Anything that you condition, it's sankata, and that is sankara. Isn't that you're preparing it? Yes, you're preparing it. So when you prepare it, you'll have a conscious experience of pink as opposed to blue. Why? Because perception. And Buddha explains what is perception. He says red, blue, green, all these are perception. Because you know. So he calls white, blue, red, yellow, 4 basic colors. Because that's there in nature. So whatever you feel, you perceive. Whatever you perceive, you cognize. Whatever you feel, perceive, and cognize, you prepare it. Otherwise, you cannot experience it. So based upon the rupa, you need to feel. For feeling, you require the conscious experience. To make it conscious experience, you need to have a perception. Without perceiving it, you cannot feel it. Hi, Asad. Good afternoon. So another guy from Wellington. Okay, now we have got 2 people from Wellington. Great. So now, basically, if I want to feel whom? Asad. There should be perception of Asad. And I can't feel Asad being happy or unhappy with him or neutral with him if there is no perception. To have a perception and feeling, I need to prepare myself. So I prepare to welcome Asad in my life at this moment. And there's an experience, which is vinnana, a conscious experience. I recognize, that's Asad. And where does he stay? I need to describe. He stays in Wellington. He stays in Wellington. Where is Wellington? New Zealand. And today, strangely, 3 people are from New Zealand. What a coincidence. Right? So if I am also in New Zealand, what's going to happen? I would say, where are you from? Wellington. You're from Wellington. How about you? You're from Auckland. And let's say I don't like these 2 places. I just now moved to Christchurch. What? Yeah, just moved to Christchurch. Why? Wellington was slightly hot for me. Auckland is cold. This is moderate. Oh, well, what's the difference between Christchurch and Wellington and Auckland? I don't know. I have welcomed all the 3. So when I welcome all the 3, I have to have a feeling of liking and disliking. So I love Christchurch. So I will go there and then I establish myself and I say that the market is good, the people are good, I'm getting jobs and everything. In Wellington, I was not getting that much, and Auckland is too many people, and this place, it really helps me, makes me closer to my home. Which is your home, dear friend? My home, yeah. In fact, yeah, it was India a long time ago, but now that I've moved into New Zealand, I feel, you see these words, how we use. I feel more New Zealander now. Can you feel being New Zealander? Or can you perceive being New Zealander? It's more about perception than the feeling. Yes, Aryu?
So this word, cognition or vijanati or whatever, versus perception, sanjanati. How do you distinguish? What's the same and what's different?
That's there in Mahavedala Sutta, right?
Yeah, but he explained using that word. But how do you differentiate?
Sanjanati. Sanjanati means what? He also gives Sanjanati. What is Sanjanati? He says, what? Pitalam Sanjanati. Lohitam Sanjanati. Neelam Sanjanati. Odata Sanjanati.
Or colors?
For colors. For a perception, there should be a vinnana, a cognition. Otherwise, you can't. Right? So, vinnana, cognitive knowledge, which will say what is and what is not, is required to perceive. And whatever you have perceived, you should have a feeling, just like a New Zealand feeling. I'm a more New Zealander than Indian. Why and how? Well, you know what? I think I shouldn't be saying this in public. If I talk about bad of my country and my countrymen will be mad at me. But still in private, I can say I was not getting that many jobs and money was not that good. Now in New Zealand, you know what? I'm getting good amount of money and a lot of prestige, a lot of fame, and I can stay in big houses, which was not possible in India. Too much of population, you say, and then there's no privacy. People jump around everywhere. In New Zealand, we stay ourselves. Nobody troubles anyone. Nobody cares. So I would love to stay in a place where nobody cares. So I feel more New Zealander than being an Indian. But when they play cricket, I love to play for India. Stupid guy, if you're not an Indian, why do you want to cheer up for India? No. I have India in my blood. Oh. When did it occur? Meaning, which doctor injected India into the blood? Nobody asked that question. Why? Because this is vachi sankara. So you keep on debating what should be spoken and keep on making words out of it, and you keep on creating sentences which the other person feels is real. Right? So now when I say I play cricket, wow, good. Why? Who plays cricket? New Zealand plays cricket. India plays cricket. Australia plays cricket. England plays cricket. And they play called Ashes. The English and the Australians, if they play ever, they're enemies. At least on the ground. Just like the India and the Pakistan. It's supposed to be playing enemies. And then only it's fun. So they play a game called as Ashes. Why? Because even today, the British Crown gets the taxes from Australia and New Zealand. So the flag of both New Zealand and Australia have United Kingdom's symbol. Okay. So now they play the game. In the game, everything is fair. But that's sankara. The entire play of cricket is sankara. There was no enemies in the first place. But there are two sides. Now you have to take side. You have to either side the Australians or you have to side the New Zealand. Let's say you are from New Zealand, and in New Zealand-Australia match, Kiwi versus the Australians, happening in Perth, in Australia. So you need to cheer whom? If you are truly a New Zealander now, you need to cheer New Zealand. But what happens to Australia? I fly to Perth, but that's Australia, boss. That's no longer New Zealand. You flew to Perth, which is Australia. So you have to cheer Australians. How can you now cheer New Zealand in their country? All of these are sankaras. Because the sanjanati, now this perception is what? It's picking up as New Zealand. Then it picks up as Australia. Then it picks up as United States. And in the US, there's no cricket. So there's only baseball. Now wait a second before you ask any further question, Aryu. So let me try to cover things up for you. So this sanjanati is based upon vijanati. Vijanana is to know, which is vinnana. So you cannot make up something if you could not perceive it in the first place. And it becomes a circular argument now. Without the vijanana, there is no sanjanana. And for both of them to work, you require what? Vedana. Because you need to feel. If I were to ask Asad, do you like Wellington? I think he'll say yes. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been staying there. And same with me. And same with Anusha. They are not born in New Zealand. They've settled down in New Zealand. That's a better way. But what made them perceive to stay in New Zealand? Because they felt New Zealand is good. Felt, F-E-L-T, feeling. So there was a sukha vedana there. And how did they ever get the sukha vedana? Because of the, which one? Conscious experience, right? So vinnana gives you vijanana. Sanjanati, sanya gives you sanya. Sanjanati is part of sanya. Janati, you see, to know, requires vinnana for everything. Yes, Aryu, now it's your turn.
Yeah, thanks for explaining. I guess I was just thinking in my mind partly, because in the sutta it says vinnana, vijanati, he gives the example of pleasure, pain, and all that, right? So to me, it sounds like it has the ability to distinguish, right?
Yes,
to know
it does.
the difference.
It does.
Right?
That's what I said. It has a discriminative power.
Discriminative power. And also, you were saying recognition, right? You like recognize. So it has a connection to memory, right?
Yes.
Because without memory, it cannot, right?
Yes.
So this perception, I feel like maybe you perceive there's a difference, then this indexing machine of your memory will create this different. It knows there's a difference, so it cognizes it and remembers it.
No. Cognize is not memory based. It is body based. Basic identification. Because when your eye sees something, we are animal, fearful animal. If anything is moving, it becomes alive object. If anything is not moving, it is not fearful. This is primordial programming of the body. So it creates an object. When you see in front of you, there are objects. Few are very important. If something is moving, it's a threatful. So it creates its primary object. You don't need memory for that. This is primordial discrimination of object. In front of you, there is object. So there is subject. Right? So the arising of object and subject is vijanati. Because
so you think this feature you just described has more to do with cognition than has to do with perception?
Cognition means identifying object from the white scale, colored blank space. In front of you, there is no object, right? There is just a blank space. But out of blue, something appears called object, right? And so there must be subject. This is vijanati. Primordial knowing, there is object. Something is there. Then you know, oh, it's Aryu. This is came from your past knowledge. This is recognizing, means cognizing again. First cognizing is primordial cognizing, then second cognizing is recognizing. For recognizing, you need past experience. So
Both we say is the future of the vinyana.
when first happens, first sapachaya, vedana, sanna, sankara. The moment first happens, five aggregate has arrived. Because you recognize the object as are you, right? Before that, primordial knowledge must be there, that there is some person out there. Something is moving. That primordial knowledge is bodily knowledge. So vijanati is not part of five aggregates. It is primordial sankara. Even to attach to five aggregate, you need some sankara. Primordial sankara, primordial cognition, primordial is bodily.
Yeah,
Thanks for explaining. Yeah, I don't know if I'm more clear or less now.
no, it's fine. So some clarity on that, Sachin. Most of it, what you said is right. Some corrections here is that if we go by the 9 stages of vinnana, then what happens here is that if it remains at the chitta level, it doesn't recognize anything. There's no recognition. There's no initial cognition either, because that's just a pure light. Only in the case of the mano, there is a first cognition, the basic primordial cognition. And it requires rupa as an object. Otherwise, there's nothing to cognize there. So in the arupa, there is no rupa. So there's nothing to cognize at all. Right? So then, like you rightly said, if there were all the white spaces and then you had something appearing on that white screen, and then this cognition happens. And then the recognition happens if you have seen that object earlier. So you keep on recognizing it and then changing that object every moment of your experience, because it keeps on changing. So anything that moves.
That's why abstract painting is very, very good thing to experiment with. When in front of you there is an abstract painting, right? The primordial nama rupa is there because there is a painting, right? That much you have.
Yeah.
But you are trying to find out what is this, trying to find out what is this line, that line. No line makes you any clue what it is. But you are still trying. It elongates. The time period elongates. But you are not able to get anything from your past experience.
Correct.
So it is more like entering into samadhi.
Yeah. So
I guess this is when you can see the perception is really a sankara, because you're keep on trying to.
So that's the reason what Buddha did is he divided the 5 aggregates into this way. How does the rupa arise? It arises out of the pathavi, apo, tejo, vayu. Simple. Keep it simple. Okay, that's all what is rupa. Now what is vedana, sanna, sankara? It requires touch or contact, not touch, it requires contact. Without the contact, there can't be anything called as vedana, sanna, sankara. Now contact with what? With what? You require the namakaya and the rupakaya to be there in the first place. So the kaya should be there. Kaya is a collection of one side definition of what that object is, and another side the object itself. So you require a subject object to be there for any contact to happen. So the sankhara or the vedana, which is the feeling, and the sanya, all the 3 requires the same kind of food, which is phassa ahara. So he divided, if you look at the Putta Mamsa Sutta, he just says kabalinka ahara, that is the solid food, then the phassa ahara, which is same for all the 3. So the phassa ahara, mano sanchetana ahara, they both are ahara. Why he uses the word ahara is because it's a food. And then there is a vinnana ahara, which is cognition. Yes.
So because these three all need a rupakaya and namakaya, that means if the primordial cognition has not happened, like Sachin said, there's no food for these three guys.
Yeah.
And that means that the cognition is more basic, that vinyana has to be there for the namakaya or to be there for the contact to happen.
And that's why Buddha says sabbe sankara anicca. That doesn't mean sabbe sankara or sankar kanda anicca. Your tendency to cognize, your tendency to your interest to know everything around you will stop. Even that sankara will stop. If anything comes in front of you, you attempt to recognize it. That attempt itself is a sankara.
Yes.
Right? So if sabbe sankara anicca means to go into nibbana state, you have to remove that curiosity of knowing something. Then only, even if it is in front of you, you will not attempt to know. That attempt to know has to be removed. Sabbe sankara anicca.
Yes. This can be seen, I mean, even with very gross examples, like if you like cars, right? If you're a car lover, you would go every car, you would say, this is what brand, that is what brand. But if you don't have that greed for cars, then you just see it's cars, right? You don't care. So that tendency will not be there.
No, it's not like that. It's first you need to create car in your mind. There should be a creator. Okay. If you didn't have a vinyana at all of the car, there's no cognition of the car. If you did not create a car, you neither will like the car nor you dislike the car because there's no feeling of the car. If I didn't have any cognition of New Zealand, then I can't really say whether New Zealand is a good place to stay or a bad place to stay or a neutral place to stay. Only if New Zealand is created in the mind, and then I can say, meaning that greed, hatred, delusion will only come if there were something to cognize. So, one second. There is one sutta in the Sanyukta Nikaya where the vinyana itself feeds onto everything, which we have covered many number of times. If you go through that sutta, you will really see that the basic thing is cognition. Like what Sachin is trying to say is right. The basic fundamental is to cognize, not the recognize, it's to cognize. When there is a cognition, it should get you the feeling and perception of that what is being cognized, right? And that's what in the Mahavedala Sutta is also spoken. If you are having a cognition of that feeling and perception, you want to do something about that feeling and perception, which is sankhara. So if there were no feeling and perception, which is sanya vedeta nirodha, then your sankharas are stopped. Now,
Is that the reason why vinyana is the last in the four food, because it's the most subtle type of food?
yes, that's the reason he says nama rupa, and then he gives the example of that person who is being whipped, right? 300 in the morning, 300 in the afternoon, 300 in the evening with a spear. Yeah, but it's still alive. Why? Because vinyana's job is to cognize. It keeps on cognizing. It keeps on cognizing. It keeps on cognizing. And as much as it cognizes, so much it feels. And as much as it feels, it perceives.
In that sutta, what is trying to say, vinyana is just like a machine.
Yes.
It has no its own tech intelligence. It's just to repeat the same experience.
Yeah. I guess the example I was giving was more to say, because there's a greed for certain things, we keep on trying to perceive it. Like, for example, for every man that walks by, I don't care to look at them, right? But for every woman, I care to try to see.
No, that's where I'm telling you, you've already cognized it as a woman and a man. If there were no cognition of a woman or a man, you wouldn't have any feeling of a woman and a man. If you didn't have any feeling of a woman or a man, then you wouldn't have any greed, hatred, and delusion for the woman and a man. If you didn't have that, there's nothing to perceive as a woman and a man.
Yes, that's more ultimate. I'm just saying, even now I can cognize men. I don't care about looking men. Just like if I don't care about cars, like if I haven't put another knowledge knowing this is what brand, then every car looks to me as car, right? I don't try to perceive what
That
is
is
this
fine. You have gone way ahead of it. I'm just saying at the basic level,
See,
this power of cognition.
you cannot separate men from women. So when you say I'm not interested in man, so why it is being seen? Because you are interested in women, you will definitely see men. Because you have, if you say I don't want to see white, I just want to see black, it's not possible. Black is the other side of white. So when you say man, when you say woman, a man is other side of woman.
Yes, agreed.
So the thing is, Aryu, I think you're missing the point here, is a cognition has two sides, or rather three sides. One sukha, one dukkha, one neutral. Clear?
Because feeling is the one of the earliest object to be perceived, to be cognized. And like you said, if you cognize, it has to have feeling. That's why he put.
That's the reason in the Mahavedala Sutta, what does he say? He says the same thing for cognition, the same thing for vedana. Right?
Yes.
There is no difference. So another question comes, why are you separating it out?
Yes.
And that's the reason he says that cannot be separated, only for knowledge. It's just for knowledge, for getting wisdom. That there is a difference between the cognition and the feeling. Like there is a feeling of New Zealand. There need not be a cognition of New Zealand. There can be a sukha experience because you are New Zealander. Or like you are an American, you might love America, you might hate America. But you are now an American. Yes, Ari.
I guess for a very small kid with a basic cognition, a lot of things would appear somewhat neutral, right?
No.
No.
That's wrong. If you've seen a small child of 3 months or even 2 months of age, if you give an object, what does it do? It cognizes using its mouth. It puts everything in the mouth, it feels, and it does every other thing using its mouth. Its language is very basic. So we might not really see what it is doing, but the child exactly is doing what an adult would have done.
Yeah, his primordial tendency is, can I eat or not?
Yeah. Okay, I get that part. I guess I'm just trying to make an example because a lot of things initially you don't have ability to know good and bad, right? But then we start giving perceptions and labels and descriptions.
No, sir, wrong. You have an idea of good and bad. If you were to ask the child to put its hand in the fire, it will not do.
Okay.
It will go near the fire, but it will, if the moment it sees that it's heat, it just says there's a reflex.
Yeah, I think we're talking slightly different things. I'm thinking like art, right? As kids see art, he may not know much about art, but we start describing.
No,
so
you already created a lot of nama rupa today. You've gone way beyond creating the nama rupa. So you have basically created an orchestra of vinnana now. So it becomes very hard for me to bring you to the basic level.
Okay.
So basically, it is just cognition, basic cognition. Basic cognition is just basic cognition. That's it. All animals, all beings have the basic cognition. And the basic cognition gives you a basic feeling. So there's a basic feeling, and there's a basic perception, and there's a basic sankhara. Right? Without the rupa, there can't be any basic cognition, there cannot be any basic feeling, there cannot be basic perception, and there cannot be basic preparation.
And that's why there is something called vedana to vedananupasti.
Yes.
So see the particular feeling in the basic feeling. See the particular body in the basic body. See the particular dhamma in the basic dhamma.
Yes, sir, you go ahead.
Yeah. The only point I was trying to make is that these basic things gets proliferated. That's what I was.
That's
trying to-
secondary. That is
Yes.
how it is developed, right? So when he says that chakuncha paticha rupecha upajit chakku vinnyanam tinna sangati phasso phassapacha vedana yam vedeti tam sanjanati, and after that you create a story. But in the basic thing, there is no story making, but you know that.
Yes.
You
And I'm
know-
saying even these stories again get into perception and feeling. So
That is separate, are you? Why are you? I don't know what is that. What is that you want to prove or disprove? The basic thing, like her question is a basic question, so I'm answering to the basic question. What you're asking is afterwards. Afterwards, it's a completely making, right? It also has vedana. It also has sankara. It has everything. But what we are trying to address is, can there be a feeling without a cognition? And the answer is no. Can there be a perception without cognition? And the answer is no. Do you require cognition for everything? And the answer is yes. Right? That's the final thing about all the sutta references. If you've gone through all of these suttas, they talk the same thing. They don't talk anything different. And the best sutta is the Mahavedana Sutta, because it gives you a complete walkthrough as question and answers. So all of this question, what May is asking, is covered in Mahavedana Sutta. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? Like he asked this question, whether vijanana comes or the pajanana comes, right? That's a starting point. Is what is panya? That's a starting point. He says, which comes first? The conscious is first, or the wisdom is first? And then this whole story begins. So we need to go step by step and see. The panya is there all the time, but it is obscured by the hindrances. But where is the panya? Panya is there in the consciousness only. Where else will you find the panya? You can't bring it from a shop. Yes, go ahead.
When he gives the example of panya, he already bring the Four Noble Truths, which is very advanced panya.
Now, see, he's talking from dhamma. How did you learn the dhamma? You learned the dhamma through what? Through the pajanana. For pajanana, how did you get it? Because of vijanana. Right? So the vinnana has a dual role. It knows not.
See, Four Noble Truth is not advanced. If you directly see the dukkha, see, we are not directly seeing the dukkha. If you directly see, just like directly you see man and woman, then you are nibbana. We are not directly seeing dukkha. We are intellectually seeing dukkha. It is very complex way of knowing it.
Yeah, so to conclude, if you were to bring a basic cognitive ability, then the Patisamutpada is seen in a very direct sense. And when you see the Patisamutpada, dependent origination, it cuts the asavas, which is the fermentation. If it cuts the asava, you can penetrate the Four Noble Truths. If you penetrate the Four Noble Truths, then you know what it is. That the drama is the vinnana. Even in the Pena Pindupama Sutta, what he says the same thing, that Maya Upamancha Vinnyanam. What is Maya? The illusion maker or delusion maker or whatever, some magic. Magically, New Zealand is formed. Yes or no? It's a magic. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, what you said reminds me of, I guess, the more you're seeing, the more darkness you remove, and hence more bright you have, and with the more light, again, the more you see. So it goes
Exactly. Yeah, May, go ahead.
So in reality, the five aggregates is it's basically almost like a solid collection. It's just the Buddha has separated out, to individually show what the aggregates are. But when, like, say, the Sotapanna removes Sakkaya Ditthi, it all happens at once. Once you remove the personality view, it all goes, because they're actually all linked together.
Yeah, so to answer your question in a better way, 5 aggregates are one trunk of a tree. Okay, you hold anywhere, you're feeling it's a same trunk. As a normal worldling, I'm seeing it's the same trunk. I go this side, that side, that side, that side. Then all of a sudden, I start rubbing like this. I feel, hey, wait a sec. It's not a trunk anymore. I'm feeling rough. Okay, I do this way, something wetness and something else is there. Oh shucks. Just for convention, I am saying it as a trunk, but there's no trunk as such. Oh man, wait a sec. Let me investigate further. I scratch this trunk and I find no trunk there. In fact, something else is coming. Something else is coming. Then this peeling off. It's peeling and peeling. And I find, oh man, I can't get this. This trunk is never found anywhere. Like a peel of onion or a peel of the banana trunk. I'm just removing it and removing it, ultimately find nothing there.
Collectively, you can say 5 aggregate is equal to experience. Experience is made of 5 ingredients.
Yeah, wait for a second, Sachin. You have already gone in a more advanced way. So I appreciate your answers now are very advanced, but we have to go with a very basic.
No, I don't think it's advanced. It is very basic.
No, for you it is basic, but I don't think so.
Anyway, it's okay.
Yeah. So the thing is, now I cut the trunk off and I find no trunk there. So what changed? My cognition got changed. Now there's a change in the cognition. I was cognizing trunk all the time. Now I find no trunk there. And there's a relief. I was holding the trunk. Trunk of what? Trunk of rupa, trunk of vedana, sanna, sankara, vinnana itself as one huge tree, which is no separation. Now I find separated out. Rupa is one thing. The feeling of that is another thing. The perception of that is another thing. The preparations or the formations or the choices or whatever that I'm doing is another thing. And the cognitive aspect of that is another thing. So all are 5 different things rather than one thing. Like if I see this body, I'm calling Vilas. Suddenly I find, wait a sec. Hey, come on, where is Vilas? Oh, wait. Is mustache Vilas or this nose and skin or which one is Vilas? And that change is happening in the cognition. It is vinnana. As soon as that happens, the yoniso manasikara takes off, right? So the yoniso manasikara job is to discern properly, because cognition, the conscious always knows this and that. So now there is a change in my conscious experience. All along I was experiencing vilas. Suddenly, at that very moment, Sotapatti phala, that this vilas is no longer experienced. It's not in the experiential reality any longer. It's being experienced as a rupa. Yes, there is a rupa. As a something as a physical frame. That's true. But that's not vilas. And there is a feeling of this physical frame. I'm able to feel this frame. Yes, that is true, but it's still not vilas. Then I'm perceiving this frame. That's also true. The skin is fair, or the skin is dark, or the tall body, short body, but all this is related to the body only. It's not related to vilas any longer. And I see the preparation is for the body. I am taking this body for a bath. I am taking this body for a brushing. I am taking this body for a toilet. I am taking this body everywhere. But where is I which is being taken? Oh man, this is tremendous. So that cognition of vilas is completely erased out. And that is when I experienced Sakkaya Ditthi not being there. Because I was finding Vilas is a inclusive. And that's inclusiveness experience is not there. Now I have a separate experience, meaning a body experience is one thing, the mental experience is another thing, the conscious experience is another thing. Now I see three things here. Body is the kaya, then I have vedana, sanya, sankara as one, and the vinnana as another. Now I see, wow, whatever I feed into the vinnana, it gives me the same result, right? So now I see this is not vilas. I'm not feeling vilas. I'm neither perceiving vilas, nor I'm preparing vilas. It's just a body. So when I go for a food, body requires food. I don't require food. Yes, that's true. I'm experiencing like that. That's a fact. So now I feel relieved. So whom am I giving food to? Not to vilas. So I just go and eat. Now this dress has to be worn by whom? Not by vilas anyway. It's for the body to guard itself from heat and cold and all that thing. Yeah, that's true. I need to, otherwise people call me a shameless person. So I can't go out with all these hairs grown everywhere. It looks so dirty, so ugly. So let me go and change. I do that. And then what? I require shelter for the same very reason. And then I require medicine. Who requires medicine? The body requires medicine. The body requires shelter. The body requires food. And the body requires clothing. So I don't require the four requisite at all. What a relief. Now I have attained the Sotapatti phala magga or magga phala. Now I know that with this breaking of the five aggregates, I have achieved what a Sotapanna should achieve, irrespective of whether I'm doing a sitting meditation. Anusha, I'm bringing your answers to your question in this. So basically, I can do a sitting meditation. I can do a standing meditation. I can do a walking meditation. I can do a sleeping meditation in the four postures. It's the same. Who is bending? The body. Who is getting tired? The body. Who is experiencing tiredness? The mind. But who is there? Just the witness. Now I know I am just the witness to the body's experience and the chitta experience. So these two are two separate things. I am neither the body nor I've got anything to do with the chitta. Now I can do chitta anupassana in much greater detail. I know the raga is coming. I know the dosa is coming. I know the moha is coming. I know now what all is coming. It's coming. It's not me, I'm coming. It's coming. And it is also going. Whatever comes, goes. Because it's coming on the screen of consciousness. And I have got nothing to do with that. What is coming, what is going. The body is coming, the body is going. The thoughts are coming, the thoughts are going. The feelings are coming, the feelings are going. Perception is coming, the perception is going. The preparation is coming, the preparation is going. So when everything comes and everything goes, what is there for me to hold it, to hang on to it and hang myself to it as mine? So first time ever, I will experience eso na mama. This is not mine. And certainly it is not mine. That's true. Why? Because vilas is a created one, sankata. It has been brought together, paticca samutpanna. It has khaya dhamma. He was a child, then he became a boy, then he went to the school, then he grew, then he became a teenager, then he became an adult, then he is going to become a middle-aged person, and then he is going to become an old-aged person, and then he will be gone. So if something is created, then something will get destroyed. If nothing is created, nothing gets destroyed. Yes, may go ahead.
Thank you. I understand now. It just clicks. So basically, a Putujana just sees these 5 aggregates as one lump of thing, whereas after once you're Sotapanna, you can basically see these are the 5 different aggregates. That's what you see it as.
Yes.
That's the difference.
So now what should I do? Well, there are 4, 5 ways of doing it. First easy way. What should I do? Go by tradition. If I don't know how to do it, go by whichever tradition it is. Yeah, I love Burmese tradition. Beautiful. Okay, fine, go ahead. Go ahead. That's it. Done. Why? Because you have to cut down the 5 aggregates. Who teaches you immaterial? All that you need to do is cut the 5 aggregates. It's working for you? Yes, sir. Done. Because that only will take you till Arhat. Right? And 5 aggregates includes what? It includes the rupa, then vedana khanda. It includes what? All sampajjasa vedana. That is chakku sampajjasa vedana, kaya sampajjasa vedana, sota sampajjasa, means 6 senses. That's a vedana. The feeling, how will you feel? Through senses only. And how do you perceive? Through the objects. So you require rupa sanya, saddha sanya, gandha sanya, and all that. This is object. There can be only perception of the object. Hold on, May, for a second. So this is senses, and this is the object. If you remove the senses, there is no object. If you remove the object, there are no senses. So you remove one, other is gone. So somebody has to teach you. So if it is taught by a Burmese school of thought, okay, done. If it is taught by a Sri Lankan school of thought, okay. If it is taught by a Thai school of thought, okay. As long as you are able to break into the 5 aggregates. Or you want to do it yourself, it's called as what? DIY. Do it yourself. You bring everything to your home. You basically do it for yourself. Hogba. So basically, you need to do things for yourself. DIY. Here, you have to learn yourself. You have to implement yourself. You have to break your head yourself. You have to do everything yourself.
Like I do.
It's not bad. Okay. Now you can do the DIY by going through the YouTube videos. Makes sense. Right? One carpenter will say, do this way. Another carpenter will say, do that way. Another carpenter will say, do this other way. So you will get a lot of videos which will, each teacher will tell you, do this, do that, do this. So you take everything and then you do whatever you want. Because you went for DIY, basically. So the thing, what are we trying to do is to cut it into 5 basic aggregates. You have done it, done it. That's it. So now once you do it, now the question comes, should you do it in a sitting posture or standing posture or walking posture or sleeping posture? It looks absurd because it's only about understanding the aggregates. You have understood. So now the mind doesn't cling on to the 5 aggregates. Upadana, panchupadana, khanda, dukkha. That is removed. So when you know it is removed, you know it is removed, and hence you are a Sotapanna. Should somebody come and label you and your back saying that, hey, you are Sotapanna? Doesn't matter. From whom did you become Sotapanna? It doesn't matter. Whether you followed the Burmese method and became a Sotapanna, or you went by Thai method or Sri Lankan method or your own method, no worries. Because you have broken the 5 aggregates. So there is no grasping of aggregates. So you are Sotapanna. Now, should you sit in a very meditative posture for 12 hours? No. But it is said, okay, do it. No, you tell me whether I should sit or shouldn't I sit. No, there's nothing like that. No, but I want to sit. Sit. No, I don't want to sit. Okay, don't sit. Now, that's the reason Buddha never answers anything in absolute, because what to answer? Like today, Aryu sent me one sutta, very nice sutta, SN 44.10. Okay, it's a beautiful sutta. This Vachagota comes and asks him. There are two words what he used. Atta atta. Atta atta. It's a very deep dhamma. And it's a very short sutta. Basically, he comes and asks, what do you think? Will the soul survive after death? Buddha remains silent. You mean to say the soul will not survive after death? Buddha remains silent. And Vachagota takes his bag and leaves. And Ananda comes and asks, why did you reply to that Vacha? He says, if I would have answered, he would have got into further more confusion. I left him as it is. Why? Now, Atta is self. What self? Self in every context. Eye is a self. Ear is a self. Nose is a self. Tongue is a self. Body is a self. Mind is a self. There are 6 selves. Which self are you talking about? And he's asking Atta. Anatta Atta. It's sense or nonsense, or essence or no sense. And Buddha sits silent, because how do you explain Atta? It's only 6 senses. That's what is the meaning of Atta. If you ask, is that having an essence? Then it would be wrong. If you ask, then there's no essence. It also is wrong. Yes, Aryu.
So the question is basically, is there an essential self? Is the question.
Yes. And that essential self is the 6 senses. Because you can't define the loka and the self other than the 6 senses. Right? Yes, May. Yeah, you had got a lot of questions. Now it's your turn.
I'm changing the topic a little bit. This was I was listening to your sutta again. Your talk again about the breaking the nama rupa. So I was sitting in meditation, and funny enough, actually, your voice came up. You know, like you were saying something in Pali, but then instantly when I heard the voice, I knew it was yours. So I was thinking, I didn't see any image of you, but I was thinking, well, that's like instantly, I guess nama rupa was already attached. In that sense, it was very difficult to kind of break. I know when you said to break it, I was thinking, well, that came instantly, and I knew it was your voice, you know, in my head. But I thought, how would you break it when it comes so instantly? But then another image came up. Let's say it was like a school teacher. So an image of her came up, and like the name came in a little bit later, you know, let's say a few seconds later or something. So, or maybe less than that. But then I knew that way you could kind of slip in and kind of break that if you didn't have the name coming. But when the voice just came in my mind, I thought, well, I knew that was already yours, and I thought that would have been quite difficult to break nama rupa in that case. So I was wondering, in those cases, how would you kind of break nama rupa?
That's another long session. Maybe we should talk about it maybe tomorrow or something, because that's longest.
I can say in one sentence that the teacher, when the image of teacher appears, if you were not interested, if you at that time got disenchanted in not, but that is very difficult, because that is an urge to know. If at that time, if you were disinterested in that, it would have not.
Okay, so
yeah, it was almost funny. Like the mind wanted to kind of name it. I could see the name. It just wanted to name that picture.
Yeah,
there it is. Let's come and name it.
Yeah, that's the pain. That's the pain of not knowing.
Yes, Asad. I also need to leave. I need to drop my wife. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Yes, Asad. Go ahead.
Oh no, leave it. That should be fine.
Okay. So like what Sachin said is right. See, now if you do animitta then and there, then no teacher will come, nor the voice or anything. So the question, there is a sutta associated with that. When there's a question asked, when you meet the teacher, what you should do? And Buddha says, follow till the end and leave the teacher once you're done. So you need to do animitta of everything and hold one, like what is mentioned in the Chula Shunyata Sutta also. You need to keep on having one nimitta and leave the other nimitta. So you need to leave the gross nimitta for the subtle nimitta. Right? So dhamma is also a nimitta. Till you finish your journey, you require both the dhamma and the teacher. Once you have ended the journey, you don't require the teacher nor the dhamma.
So you're saying don't do it on you. Keep it to the last.
Keep till the end and then throw the teacher as well as the dhamma. And that's the reason he says that in the Mahatanhak Sankhya Sutta. What he says is that, am I giving you the dhamma to holding on your back or throwing it out? And he says, you should throw it out once you finish the journey. So nothing is worth grasping, including Buddha Dhamma itself. Right? Now, in the case of Asad, he believes in Goenka. Should he do it? Yes, he should. Should he believe in Goenka? Yes, he should. Should he continue doing whatever he's doing? He should. But once he crosses over, once he finishes whatever maximum it should, leave it. Now you leave it, completely leave it. Because you should use the Buddha Dhamma as a raft, not to carry it, just to cross over. So Goenka is helping Asad in getting into the direction what it should be. That's it. That's the purpose. Once the purpose is served, done. No longer required. Nothing that is not having any respect to the teacher. No. But even then you have to drop it. Yes.
I ask you a very quick question. Looks like you want to wrap up the session. When you're in a deep meditation or you're meditating and suddenly the thought comes towards the teacher, oh, the teacher is not good, incompetent, or a lot of like a negative thought comes. How do you deal with that? I mean, at that time, it's a thought, but you think sometimes this thought might have a certain energy that goes out as well.
You shouldn't. You just watch it. The thought itself falls down.
Oh, okay.
Don't investigate the thought. The moment you start investigating the thought, you are fighting with the thought. So now it creates more thoughts.
This is not me, this is not mine is the good.
Yeah. That's a mantra. This is not mine, this is not my, this doesn't belong to me, this is not myself.
So you are not pushing the thought, but you are separating yourself from the thought, distancing from it.
Yeah. Okay.
Very well.
Good day and good evening and good night to all of you. So let's meet again.
Everyone, everyone.
Okay.
For the questioning.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.